allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Don't see clergy here tonight. Public input?
I have something.
Please step up to the mic.
I was just wondering why we allow tire dumps downtown.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Why do we allow tire dumps downtown?
Tire dumps.
Yeah, there's a tire dump at half a block to the west of here.
Like a trash can?
No,
like
tires.
this pile of
Part of
tires.
business.
My assumption would be he would be talking about my property that I rent, which is C3 commercial. I think it's C3 or is it C2? And it's an automotive facility and zoned accordingly.
So tire dumps are allowed in C1.
It would be about the same as a service center on Lincoln, C2.
Oh, Jerry was doing this, or Greg was doing this.
C2.
Oh, two. C2. So they're allowed then, is that what you're saying?
I don't know the rules on that exactly. I'd probably forward that more to Greg, but I do know there are several other in the areas. I think service center is zoned industrial, isn't it, or is it zoned C2?
Gary, do you
On
know?
East Lincoln?
Off the top of my head, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta do some research.
I think it's like two.
Yeah, I don't.
Joe, we have to define a tire dump. Tire dump is that 30 days and they're moved on. Is it 1 day? Is it in the course of a business? Is it, an ongoing business? Is it a storage yard? Is it just a property of its own? So I think there's a lot more questions in that can be looked up and information found out for you. Because it's more than just saying it's a tire dump. It is in the course of a business. It is C2, and that. So there's a lot of things going on in that area that are probably beyond the scope of anybody at this table today, but we would be glad to find some information for you.
I was just curious, because that kind of looks like quite an eyesore, kind of mess, kind of an environmental thing. Big tire dump. I mean, sometimes I've seen what, about 4 foot high?
Sometimes, typically, there could be about 150 at the most, but there is a process called federal excise tax, and it's a tire tax, basically. And that gentleman comes around and checks them and counts them and makes sure they're disposed of properly and they're disposed of according to the correct procedures, the time frames and all that. And he's never ever had a problem with the way I've done it or the way Dwight's done it for 30-some years.
I don't know, just ask about why we're allowed to dump tires a foot from the street.
Joe, your information is so noted, and as I just said, around this table, we can answer that tonight. We're going to find information. You're welcome to come back and we'll have information at a future meeting.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you for coming. At this time, we'll open the hearing on 315 East Lincoln. This is a property where the owner has requested to present his information. At this time, we'll declare the hearing open for the owner of the property to proceed with their information, and questions and discussion will happen under new business, item A, resolution number 0916, 315 East Lincoln Street. So, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I think you need to have the comments from the city as well as from the property owner.
During this time?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you on the advice of council. You're welcome to ask questions during this time. Okay.
So on February 15th, 2016, Mr. Bolts will serve notice after we have received several complaints on the property located on East Lincoln, next to the trail. I think the exact address is located on the resolution. I don't have that in front of me. Photographs were taken of the property and the property in question that was being complained about. Again, like I said, we served a letter on the 15th of February by hand. It was rechecked 15 days later, nothing had been done. And it was sent to City Council for direction on action. And the action would basically be for the ban. Folks, unless you have any questions for me.
Questions of the chief? Seeing none? Please state your name for the record.
I am Joe Holtz. I'm allowed to ask questions. I kind of looked it up. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. I would like,
You ask questions of the chief.
correct.
Yes.
All right. Vehicle tires, where are they at?
The vehicle tires were underneath the building, they've been removed.
So, you did this today, or they've been removed since you wrote this?
That's correct.
So why did you write it? So why is this not?
It's part of the original resolution. If it's listed on there and it's already been removed, then it won't be removed.
All right. What in particular machinery and what equipment?
The equipment that, and I think we've had this conversation before, but it was the blue equipment, the oil box,
Oil box? I don't know what oil.
that white box cabin,
Oh, the storage shed?
is that what you call it?
That's what I call it. That's where you store stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. And
Why is that environmental?
it's junk.
It's not junk. Store stuff in it. How do you interpret that as being junk, you say?
Because it's not used for any purpose and it's just
I have
sitting
stuff
there.
in there. How's it not used? It's containing storage stuff.
What are you storing?
It's cabinets.
Cabinets? When did you move those in? This week?
Nope, before that.
Joe, what's the condition of that? Is it, to meet storage?
Pardon?
What, is it rusted, is it an old metal shed, or what's the
It's
condition?
a metal shed, it paint's peeling, but it's not junk. He just said it was junk. So it's definitely not junk. Might have a window out.
Is that would be a problem?
Well, is that the problem? Because we can fix that.
Well, if that's part of the problem, that's
Is that the only problem with that shed?
I still consider it junk. That's my opinion.
Any other equipment besides the storage shed?
Two blue pieces of metal equipment.
Do you know what they are?
I have no idea what
Then
they're,
how can you call them junk?
because they're not used for anything and they're just sitting there for a long period of time.
What's a long period of time?
Over 30 days without any use.
Is that your definition? So if I find something and it's, I say, hey, it's been here 30 days, it must be junk?
Be determined by each case.
Items of your refuge, I have no idea what you're talking about there.
Trash.
They're no trash. I looked there, coffee can and a piece of cardboard that wasn't there. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, if there's no trash there, then we won't have to remove any trash.
So why do you write it down if there's none there?
In case there is any trash, at the time that this was first done, there was some trash there.
And shelving, what's the matter with the shelving?
Well, I mean, what purpose is it serving there?
It's only been there 4 days, 5 days, so that faults your 30-day rule.
I don't have an answer for the shelving.
So what's on your list? Did you make the list?
I did not.
Did you make the list?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I'm not. I was talking to Bill.
I didn't.
I did, and it is basically an issue that was relocated from one location to another, that has been sitting out in the open. It's interior shelving that's stored in the elements, and that's why it's on the list.
Doesn't deteriorate, it's a quarter, it's not gonna go anywhere, it doesn't deteriorate, how can it be environmental?
I explained the reason why it was on there. and
It's
that's
not
what
been
it's
there
on
for 30 days. He just said the definition was it had to be there for 30 days.
That's with abandoned vehicles.
So,
I don't think the 30-day rule applies to trash and junk, just for abandoned vehicles.
okay, the shelves are not junk. And they're not trash.
Well, your definition of what you think is not junk and my definition must be different.
If something can be sold, has value, is it junk?
Yeah, it's called junk metal.
No, it's not. I guarantee.
Again, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay. Let me tell you what the two blue things are. One's a haul-off, and that's worth $5,000 to $20,000. Okay, the other one is an inline saw, and that, probably $5,000 to $5,000.
I think it would be your best interest to put it inside of the building so that we don't abate it.
It's a I2 zone, that's a heavy industrial zone. Granted, people don't want to walk down and see it on the trail, but the trail's in a heavy industrial zone too. And there are no skunks there. I feel sorry for the old man that came up here, but there's no skunks. If you want up and pick up the shed, you can look under there. I looked back up in the old man. So I don't know how you can pass a resolution knowing that stuff's not junk, knowing that there's no tires, knowing that there's no trash at this time, save a coffee can. And the machinery is not junk, it's not abandoned.
It's my opinion that it's junk, because it's not used for anything and it's just sitting there for a long period of time.
And storage is allowed in I2. I think I've done with my question. Any questions of me?
Are they drivable?
What, the shed?
No, I've never drive sheds. I think we drive those trucks.
The trucks aren't on the list, and yes. But yes, the backhoe's drivable, backhoe's worth about $50,000. The dump truck runs, the scissor lift truck runs, but I airlocked the brakes the other day, so I need to bleed the brakes, and that's roughly $8,000, because it has a scissor lift. The vacuum truck runs, we didn't run it there, because it doesn't have a tag. But none of these things, and the tractor run, we had to pump it up to get the air brakes to release, and we shut it off and tripped there. And the tractor runs. Any other questions?
Well, if these things are worth what you say they are, isn't that to your advantage to try and sell them?
Why would I want to sell them?
I don't know, I'm asking you. Do you have uses for them?
Yes. Yes, thank you. So if it's part of use that we established earlier, if it's part of my use, part of my business, it's allowed?
I don't know, I have no idea what the legal ramifications are, I'm just asking you for illumination. But if they are, I mean, if they could be readily used by you, that would be one thing. If they have to be pumped up, restarted, bleed the brakes or anything in order to use them, why, it doesn't seem like it's to your advantage to just let them sit. It's just an opinion, it's not any.
The brake thing happened last week when we were taking out the trees.
I
You can go over there and turn the key. In fact, I can. So it runs, it starts right up.
Good.
So,
Are there other questions of Joe at this time? Hearing none, Joe, thank you. I have,
One other thing, if I can. So under section 30-47, and under section 30-5. It is unlawful for any person to allow to exist on any residential, commercial, or industrial premises, conditions which are injurious to the health, safety, or general welfare of the residents of the community, or conditions that are detrimental to adjoining property, the neighborhood, or the city. And just wanted to put that out.
Thank you.
So then I guess I got rebuttal to that.
Sure.
How? That's what I'm asking. How is that detrimental? How? It's a heavy industrial zone.
It's lower than the standard in the neighborhood.
There's no trucks in the neighborhood. There's no industrial equipment in the
The
neighborhood.
storage that you talk about is not to the level of.
There's no storage sheds in the neighborhood.
It's also important to note there are citizen complaints who live in the neighborhood.
I understand.
Who specifically refer to it as junk. So Tim isn't, the chief isn't alone in referring to it as junk.
I think we're getting outside of the rebuttal questions to Tim or to
Trash or abandoned.
Tim or to Tim.
So it's basically trash or abandoned equipment.
So we know it's not trash because it has value. And we know it's not abandoned. Right? As I was there a couple hours ago, I was there a lot this weekend and last week.
All right, Bill, is there anything else we need to do for this?
No, I think it would be important to note that there have been 4 citizen complaints that I think the city council has seen. Joe, I don't know if you've seen those or not. Have you seen the citizen complaints?
No, I have not. They're written complaints.
Yeah.
Would you make those available?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay,
At some other point?
Well, I don't have a copy right here.
I don't know.
okay, thank you all.
Can I see them?
Yeah, we'll get it for you.
During the hearing, wouldn't be good to have?
I have no problem.
We referenced them in the hearing, and evidently she referenced them, Bill referenced them, Tim referenced them, but I don't get to see them.
These are my copies. You can look at those.
Will that be all right if you get his copy, Jerry?
That'd be fine.
Thank you.
They're actually 5. Elizabeth Spencer, Marcus Spencer, Barbara Kissick, Brenda Vickery,
Can we,
Bill, come back, bring that back to what's on the front page of that, Bill.
Pardon me?
What's on that front page? Is that all right?
Oh, yeah, that's the letter that was originally sent to Joe, so
Thank you.
it's fine.
can we take a brief recess as far as this comes?
You can continue the hearing and start in on the meeting, let him review these.
All right, that's what we'll do. Did I take any action or just on my part, just say continue?
You can, yeah, recess the hearing, I think would be appropriate. You
We'll
can do that.
recess the hearing now, it's 6:48. We'll resume the hearing at 7. Amendments to the agenda. These will be items under number 13. The first one is a beer garden permit request. And the second one is parking downtown. So 13A, beer garden permit request. 13B is parking downtown.
I'm not missing.
Any other changes or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the mayor's report. First thing I'd like to do is acknowledge a letter from the Golf Advisory Board to all council members that was received and distributed tonight. Reference football. And again, that was received and distributed to all council members. Look for the upcoming Lindsborg in Bloom towards the end of the month. Give you an opportunity to come downtown and be a part of that event as it happens. I really don't have much other than that at this point. You may.
As we move into our 2017 budget cycle, we'd like to schedule a meeting for the first presentation of the CIP, and was wondering if possibly April 25th or April 26th would work for a meeting. That's a Monday or a Tuesday. I almost said and. It's not going to be a Tuesday.
Will you say the dates again, please?
April 25th or 26th.
I can do both. Or either.
Monday. Monday would be ideal for me.
Well, this is either day, that was Monday, what's David?
No, I'm fine.
Or either day? Yeah,
Corey couldn't do Monday.
okay. Rick,
Either, so.
Blaine,
Either.
Kay, either, Kelly, either. Okay, so do we like Corey or do we like?
Yeah.
David?
All right, go with that.
I could see if that person can reschedule, it's very possible. I mean, if you're dead set that you can only make it that day, then let me, because there's an opportunity that both of us can be there then. If I try to reschedule, this is definitely. Because that's not.
26th is Tuesday.
26.
What time?
Well, probably 5:30.
Okay.
Meeting start at 6.
Tuesday, 26th, 5:30.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll be reminded in the Friday report. Greg, anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Gary, would you step up?
Proclamation for Arbor Day, I'll read it quickly. In 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, state your name, Bill Taylor, Mayor of the City of Lindsborg, do hereby proclaim April 29th, 2016 as Arbor Day in the City of Lindsborg. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Thank you.
Motion to accept the declaration.
So moved.
For a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
On the same side. As you can officially see, I have signed the Arbor Day. Gary, will there be special things going on that day?
We'll plant
Tree
trees
plantings? Tree plantings.
in
Where
front
will
of
that tree be planted at?
the studio if that helps.
I wondered if it was going to be in front of the studio, so does that include planting?
You bet. For the tree.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary, for reading that for us. Thank you, council, for approving this. Let's move on to the consent agenda. What is your desire?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, answer roll call.
Cal? Yes. Betty? Yes. Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Here.
Evil?
Yes.
Becky?
Motion.
I got to Becky. And she said yes, I think.
With Becky's yes vote, motion carried unanimously. We'll move on, past planning and zoning for old business, which includes no U-turn signs on Main Street. The discussion last time, you can see from the reading in here that we posted long ago, probably from UC from downtown and that area since the sidewalk project infrastructure project that we did. Some of these signs have not been returned. We snapped up through Tim's observation that he wishes for us to make a decision to either return the signs, go with no U-turn signs, or go no signs for U-turn, no U-turn. Tim, do you want to express an opinion on that? Or your opinion or your recommendation?
My recommendation would be to remove the current signs from that tire.
Discussion.
So moved.
It's been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, additional discussion.
And how, what is the, when you say the downtown, 100 east or north and south, Main, is that what you're talking about?
And east and west lane.
Everybody understand where we're removing these at?
Lincoln, Grant, State.
It goes from Main, State, and Saline, and to Grant, and then the 100 block both ways on east and west.
Okay. Did we also discuss the water tower, or will that one stay in place?
It's entirely up to you.
The discussion initially there was that used to be the main thoroughfare when Swenson was open. Is there a concern today, or is that a sign that could also be removed?
It's not legal, it can be removed.
It's not safe.
So everybody understands we'll include Swenson and Maine along with the other areas so noted. I don't believe this takes roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, before you consider the resolution, I suggest you reopen the hearing.
I was going to, I didn't know if we needed to officially wait till 7 or if we're okay to reopen it now.
We'll reopen it now.
Go ahead. So noted, we're reopening the previous hearing at 6:57. Joe, do you have, wish to say any more after receiving the comments or the complaints?
I feel bad for the guy who's been there 20 years, because I don't know when it was zoned 20 years ago. But I bought that property from Braden Carlson's estate. Bill, that was excess of 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been zoned heavy industrial for at least 10 years. And I mean, I feel bad for them, but they're next to a heavy industrial area. So as the trail goes through a heavy industrial area. So I gotta make use of my property.
Okay? Thank you,
Thank you.
Joe. Thank you, Joe. Call the hearing to a close on 315 East Lincoln Street. Moving on to the agenda, item 10, number A, resolution 0916, 315 East Lincoln Street.
Move we approve resolution number 09-16.
It's been moved, is there a second?
Second.
Open for discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I think the evidence at the hearing showed that there were no vehicle tires on the location. The resolution as it's written states that, so I would suggest that be scratched from the resolution.
Does that just need to be scratched? Or
Yes.
anything
Yeah,
else?
no, just, it needs to be done as part of the motion,
Okay.
but
I'll amend my motion to remove 1B where it says old vehicle tires.
Fine with me. Seconder agrees?
Yes.
Council, is there anything else that you feel, talking to you, Bill? As legal counsel, is there any other things you wish to bring up based on hearing court?
No, I don't think so.
Are we comfortable with this list is consistent with what's on the property today? I don't know, I heard some reason to doubt that maybe this is lining up exactly correct. I guess, Chief, do you feel like this list is
today?
I think that this we're looking at today is the only property that we can take any action on at this time.
Are you referencing the vehicles?
Yeah.
They fall under a whole different statute, is that correct? And
That's correct.
tagged vehicles fall under.
They would have to be on the property for 30 days, and we would have to be given notice to remove it, and would have to go through another process.
For tagged, non-existent tag. Things that aren't tagged today, that's
Correct.
the process for that.
I struggle with this because we do have neighbors that obviously are offended enough to file a complaint, and then we have to weigh the rights of the property owner to use their property, and I wish there was a way to remedy this without, I guess, between neighbors, but I don't know if that's possible.
Could I ask for a rereading of the ordinances that she presented earlier?
Chief, do you have those ordinances again?
Are you talking about that section of the code that you read?
Yes.
30 something?
I have it here.
Thank you.
It says, section 30-5 of our municipal code references premises nuisance prohibited, and it states, it shall be unlawful for any person to allow to exist on any residential, commercial, or industrial premises conditions which are injurious to the health, safety, or general welfare of the residents of the community, or conditions that are detrimental to adjoining property, the neighborhood, or the city.
And then it lists,
And then it says, for the purposes of fair and efficient enforcement and administration, such unlawful conditions shall be classified as follows. 1, exterior conditions, the yard. Exterior yard conditions shall include, but not be limited to, the scattering over or the parking, leaving, depositing, or accumulation on the yard of any of the following: lumber, wire, metal, tires, concrete, masonry products, plastic products, supplies, equipment, machinery, auto parts, junk, or refuse. Also abandoned motor vehicles. Also furniture, stoves, refrigerators, televisions, sinks, bicycles, lawnmowers, or other such items of personal property, or noxious substances, carcasses of dead animals, or places where animals are kept in an offensive manner. Number 2, exterior conditions, the structures. It doesn't apply to this particular resolution that has been written.
Thank you, that's a great help to me.
I have questions. That applies to industrial as well, machinery and equipment left on the premise. I can think of machinery on lots of industrial lots, places that are zoned industrial or commercial that could be considered dangerous. That did say industrial on that, right?
Yes, it does say industrial premises, yes.
I guess my concern is we have the Kansas school right there, that I'm concerned that this would set a precedent for some of the things we have. That's just my concern. If it's merited or warranted or not, but
I think I have concern too, is I can think of several different locations in town, there are businesses that are productive and so on, and they have stuff that could possibly fall under that, and their normal day-to-day operations.
Well, isn't that a key phrase, normal day-to-day operation? This has become a collection spot.
Let me rephrase that then. They're a normal business that has day-to-day operations, but some of the equipment sits there for a month and never gets touched because they only need it once a month.
And our neighbors complaining about it?
No.
And is there brush overgrown, trees broken down, and branches stacked up like some of the letters suggested?
Yeah,
I mean, I think we have some very descriptive letters from citizens here.
There's no brush.
There was when the letters were written.
No, there was not.
So So it was a figment of their imagination, and I guess I can.
There's trees, but no brush.
Well, one
Mr.
distinction,
Mayor, the hearing is
Yes.
over. So this is discussion of the council.
the one distinction I would make is, during the hearing, it said this is inventory, described what the machinery was used for, but, or could be used for. Didn't describe any type of ongoing process, and if it's being held to market, he didn't describe any type of way to market it, or how it's being marketed, just talk about value. So, didn't really present any evidence that it's being used in any way, shape, or form, either in some type of manufacturing or industrial process, or if it's being held for sale, how it's being marketed to those potential clients that could use that type of equipment.
I think that opens us up to somebody coming back and saying, well, I'm trying to add in the news, so my journal for $800,000 every day. And that's my plan.
However, this resolution deals with this piece of property, not other pieces of property. So I think we're here to, in my opinion, we're here to discuss this piece of property at this time, these issues, not other pieces of property. If we want to deal with ordinances and change ordinances, that should be for a later discussion, not this discussion. These are the ordinances that are in place now for this situation, and this is this situation only, my opinion.
And to the letter of the law, then we're comfortable that the items that we're addressing are listed appropriately. I guess.
Bill, that's a question for you.
I believe they are.
Yes. Bill, any concerns legally on where the action stands or
No.
what the motions are?
No.
Okay, any additional questions? Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Becky?
Yes.
Eagle?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Item B, cutout cover bid. Tim, do you wish to approach?
These are the covers that dropped down carbon sectionalization program that we're under. This gets 98 cutouts for $1,673.84 plus tax. Request motion to approve the quote from the Prince Davis.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Tim, do you know how many, this is 98, do you know how many have left then? Is there an inventory there? I'm sorry?
I do not know how many we've got in town. There's a lot of them, dozens, probably through town. So we'll get a count on one of these days, but
Okay.
we're just trying to put out the fires first.
So I noticed the amount was 6250 budgeted and you only spent 1673.
I can't remember exactly what it was. We spent some of that money already on something else, so I'd have to get back to you on that.
So you feel you may come back before you're in to get more credit coverage?
Not of this kind. Greg and I have been, we're starting to look at a different product that we might use in certain places, like around the north side. The latest outage was caused by the squirrel at the north side, so we're going to be looking at something different there.
Okay. Other questions? Roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yeah.
Eagle?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Motion carried. Move on to the next ordinance, 4977, official street tree list.
This amends our statute 48-103 that regulates the types of trees that can be planted on the city right of way. You can plant anything you want on your own property, but this is the city right of way, also known as parking between the sidewalk and the street curb. It's been 10 years from time to time, we need to look at the list. Especially this amendment removes the green ash, which is subject to an infestation, and will probably all die out in the next 10 years. So we don't want to encourage any new planting. I've also taken out hackberry because we've had some really big catastrophes in some of the older growth hackberries. We don't want to encourage more of those trees to start growing now. Other than that, we added a couple, took out a few others. We're just cleaning up the list.
What is your desire?
Motion to approve.
It's been moved to approve ordinance 4977. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional discussion?
I'm concerned that somewhere, you said it very well, that it's on the city right of way, but on this thing we're looking at here, it says street trees, and that could be interpreted, you can't plant them in the middle of the street. You know, I mean, I know it's a minor thing, but it's not quite accurate.
What's the definition of a street tree?
A tree that's planted on city right of way.
Okay.
Has the tree board seen this and made their recommendations and approved this?
Yes, in fact, here are my notes from the
Okay.
meeting where we went.
I just don't want to get a letter from the tree board like we got from the golf board. That they didn't have to do it.
I appreciate that. No, we went through it line by line. In fact, it was one of our longer meetings.
How will we get this information out to the public, Gary?
Newsletter article coming out, what, 3
Midnight.
days? Yeah.
And you'll define what is a street tree and where it applies.
We
you
will
know,
do that. Put it plain English. We'll print this. We did this a couple of years ago, and we had a table, and it was pretty well received, actually.
Okay.
We'll do the same thing.
The local nursery and them should have, make sure they understand too, if they're doing any planting
Absolutely, although I
and
think
trees, I guess, I guess. I don't know if she has trees or not, or Jeff, but Jeff's gonna plant any or somebody, so. Okay. Any additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Becky?
Yes.
Seymour? Yes. David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly? Yes.
Motion carried. Item A, community development.
I just want to talk briefly about the trail grant that we got. We'll pass those around. Nothing from the Friday report. This is just kind of update you on some of the other numbers that are involved in this. We were one of 25 projects selected out of 48, and we were number 5 on the money list. Number 1 was Rick's Department of Wildlife Tourism, Parks and Tourism. And that was a $3.8 million Flint Hills Nature Trail. I don't know if you worked on that, Rick, but. There were actually 2 other trail projects. A trail, walking trail on the first and south side, connecting some of the new housing to the Walmart shopping area. Really not a bad project. And then a Main Street revitalization in Marion. Otherwise, we're the only 3 in this area. Out of the 48, out of the 25, sorry. This is a $1 million project. We're eligible for roughly $721,000 of the Transportation Alternatives Fund. It's the same fund that was used downtown in the infrastructure project 3 years ago. Our portion is going to be $278,000, and we talked about that in some study sessions last year. We gave out some options in a November study session, I think it was, correct. But next week we'll fine tune those numbers, talk about it some more, and pick an option on how we want to fund the thing. But we have already lined up funding, and I'm confident that we'll be able to do that. The timing, I think this is what I really want to talk about. The timing on this is going to be very similar to the downtown infrastructure project. And you'll remember that we were awarded that grant in June of 2013. We did engineering in 2014, and we didn't build it until 2015. And it's going to be similar to that. Likewise, with 30 months to spend the money, we will do engineering next year, and we won't start building until 2018. So this is not just happening tomorrow. This is a ways out there. Other than that, any questions? This is a real positive move.
Thank you very much. Good deal.
Well, thanks for your work on it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your service. Kate, recreation?
Okay, so tonight I'm just going to give you guys kind of a quick update on all things football and what's kind of going on since our last meeting with that. Some of you already are aware, we had a brief informational meeting not quite 2 weeks ago at the golf course, and really the main purpose of this was just kind of to initially answer all the questions and concerns that seem to have come up, and also kind of introduce football to those same people to give them a better understanding of it overall. And we also had Kevin, who had presented the foot golf information to you all at council meeting there as well, and he did a really good job of answering people's questions and addressing a lot of the concerns associated with it. We have also met with the Golf Advisory Board, and they were actually able to help us come up with what we think will be good initial hours of operation for foot golf. And again, these are just what we're going to try out initially, and if we need a change or do anything like that, then we can, do that as well. So right now we're looking at offering it all day, Monday and Wednesdays, and then we'll have it open until 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The purpose of that is just so it doesn't interfere with our men's and women's night. And then on Fridays, we're planning to have that open all day, but typically the past couple of seasons, we've actually had couples night on Fridays. And with that, it's kind of hit or miss as far as the attendance. And so we either have a good group of over 5 couples maybe one night, and then the next night it will be maybe 1 or 2. And I think that's just kind of nature of the beast with it being summertime and people going on vacations or kids' activities that they have planned. So opposed to just getting rid of it all together, we're going to try out family nights on Fridays this season. And basically kind of act the same way that couples night has, where you come, we'll probably provide a little something of a meal there, and then you can either do football or regular golf, whichever you choose. So we're going to try that out, see how that goes this summer. And then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we'll have foot golf open, but it won't open until 2:30 p.m. And the reason behind that is just, it seems, at least right now, prime golf time is on Saturday and Sunday mornings all the way to about early afternoon. And so, at least initially, to help alleviate the stress of having foot golfers around while our traditional golfers are trying to golf, we'll not let them come play until later in the afternoon. The course itself, we pretty much have all our materials needed to be able to put it together. We have all the cups. Darren and Kevin have already gone through the entire course and marked it out as far as where each hole is going to go. So about all that's left to do now is drilling the holes and getting the cups into the ground and putting the flags in there. We will be good to go. The other thing that we've also done is we're sending a letter that all the members will receive later this week sometime, I believe. We just sent them out today. And in this letter, we're basically just introducing foot golf to them. Also explaining the financial situation that we're currently in, because there's probably a group of members that probably have no idea what's going on out there as far as that standpoint. And then also just in general thanking them for their support and cooperation when we get this new sport implemented at the course. And then lastly, inviting them all to our kickoff night, which on that note, we will be having a kickoff night for football at the golf course. And I wanted to personally invite all of you to come and attend and be there and mingle. I have an invitation for all of you. And only the cool kids get the invitation, so I'll let that figure out. And so it's going to be Friday, April 29th at 6 p.m. And we're going to provide hot dogs and chips for everybody, and then there'll be 3 rounds of foot golf all night. And then we've also invited Kevin to come back and be there just to help instruct and answer any questions and concerns that people might have. And I'm also looking for volunteers to be grill master, because otherwise that means I have to do it, and we might lose members over to burn hot dogs. So, otherwise, unless there's any questions, that's it.
Questions, anybody? Thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. Mission, administration, and finance.
Distributed was a quarterly financial statement analysis. Larry prepares this. I'm not going to go over it in detail, It gives a revenue and expenditure analysis like for the general fund. The four primary revenue sources are property tax, sales tax, interest on investments, and then the Sunstrom Conference Center. When you look at things like property tax, you'll see that we collected 52% of it today. Well, the majority of it is paid out in two separate payments. That's why it's at 52%. From an expenditure, well, interest on investments. While we're ahead of schedule for what we budgeted, when you consider that we budget $30,000 and we used to collect about $160,000 in interest income, we're ahead of budget, but it's not how we used to receive revenue. And of course, everybody's experiencing that one. On the expenditure side, it compares the different departments within the general fund. And as a reminder, we have fund-based budgeting and accounting. So when you see general government, police department, fire department, street department, park department, CDB, appropriations, swimming pool, conference center, those are all part of the general fund and part of the general fund budget. Moving on to like recreation and the golf course. While the golf course is budgeted as part of recreation, we account for them separately. And so the recreation is a standalone fund, similar to the enterprise funds, such as the ambulance, special sewer, which is wastewater or sewer, electric, and water. While we have several other funds, these are the large primary funds of the ongoing concern of the city. You know, we have capital improvement reserve funds. We have other reserve funds for electric, water, sewer. We have equipment, capital equipment reserve fund, but those aren't normal operating funds. So, if you have any questions or comments right now, things are looking good from the revenue and expenditure standpoint. On the expenditure side, and actually I'm thinking of April, we're a little ahead of budget on the expenditure side. In the police department, that's primarily due to having to cover a shift for an officer that has been in at the law enforcement training center, who is now on patrol. So that will no longer continue through the balance of this year.
I don't know if it's possible in government accounting, but when you compare year-to-date as far as a percentage of budget, is there any way you could compare that to where we should be as a percentage of budget at that year-to-date? So you're really comparing to something, or is that even possible?
Well, it's not really possible because when we get to the budget, you know, we could come in on the general fund side, we could come in from, and let's say we're going to make, put a higher level of resources into the fire department for a particular year, and whether it be a larger capital expenditure, things like that, because of cash basis accounting.
It all hits in the first quarter or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are certain things, you know, you'll see that like in the electric fund, it's from a revenue standpoint, 20% of revenue. Well, I can tell you, June, July, August, September are our revenue months in the electric fund. So you'll see at the end of September, we could be 85% of revenue. So,
I guess my question is, how do we know how we're doing? You compare it to where we're at this time last year, or how many? Or do you do your math and you work with it?
the difference is you're thinking business budgeting, and you know, you're forecasting this amount of sales. The difference is we take the priorities that have been established by council and budget according to those. So, you know, let's say in the CVB, we're going to do a marketing campaign, and we're going to commit $30,000 to it. Well, if you've taken a $30,000 jump in expenditure in the CVB from one year to the next, that's pretty dramatic. So it's kind of hard to really do that year by year comparison.
And just 3 months in, I can understand.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that important if we get 6 months or 9 months, then we'll. But you can, this is good enough for you to see red flags, I guess.
Oh, yeah, and then we also look at the monthly, I mean, we all get the monthly, all the department heads get the monthly report regarding expenditures against what's budgeted and planned. You know, and that has, well, not that particular report, but we get reports that show comparison year to year, month to month, so. Okay.
Greg, I have a question on the ambulance, just to make sure I understand. It says the difference in the two numbers is $13,244 less in run fees collected. Is that a run fees are down, or we're having trouble collecting?
Well, I'm going to answer it 2 ways. One of it is, one of the reasons it's down is when we made the switch to a different billing company, we have a lot of aged billings that were caught up, that moved some of that forward. And so you're seeing that difference from a different billing and more timely collection. I think in terms of runs, Chief, we're still running about the same number of runs. Of course, part of that, I don't know what the breakdown is of what's private insurance, what's Medicare, that type, because if we're running all Medicare runs, then our collections are going to be less than if we're private insurance.
So the question that I'm driving at is, do we have a collection problem today, or are we up on our collections?
No, actually, I think the collections are normalizing now, like Greg said.
Okay.
It was a catch-up last
Sure,
year
I understand
due to changing the billing agencies.
Okay. Other questions for Greg or Larry? Thank you both for that. I think that's good information. I look forward to receiving those on a quarterly basis. 13A, beer garden, special event permit request.
Motion to approve.
Been moved to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this special event cereal malt beverage permit application for the Midsummer's Festival Week? Any discussion?
Chief looked at it and everything is cool, no problem.
Have they got that before? This is their
Be the third year.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 13B is downtown parking. This comes out of our study session earlier, looking for any kind of additional conversation or motion to be put to the floor on what your desire after the study session. Tim, step up and give us your opinion in 1 minute or less.
Well, I think there are several options that are available here, but your decision can be either to remove the signs from the downtown area or leave it as is. Personally, I think there should be more signs if we leave them up, but I am not opposed to removing the signs either. The only issue that it would raise for me would be for street sweeping and cleaning, but somehow we can work around that a little bit.
You've heard Chief Bergeron's thoughts on that. What is council's desire?
I kind of like the idea of removing them, but I would like to bring that before the downtown businesses to see if they would cause unforeseen problems that I may not be aware of. Would that be possible?
Anything's possible for him.
And take until next month, meeting.
So we'd like
If we don't take any, if we don't take any action, we could bring it up, have it on the agenda next meeting.
Corey, does that mean that you'll be?
Yes, you will.
Thank you, Corey. We appreciate that. I know there are other members that attend regularly and express their thoughts, and if you need, you can bring in Chief Bergeron also for his opinion if you have time.
Can you be there on Monday?
I can. It's a 1 hour meeting, Tim, so I'll try.
They have donuts.
I'll Collect your thoughts. Is that all right? That's where we're headed with that. Any others at this time? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn?
Moved and
Second.
seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you all very much.